Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, my name is Liam Martin, and this is the single video that I probably shouldn't make, but I am going to make. This is what CEOs actually think on remote work, and it's a varied group of comments, ideas, suggestions. This is currently July of 2020. Is it 2023 right now? It's sometime in the future after COVID has happened. So a couple years have passed where COVID is no longer a big concern. And there are a lot of CEOs that are thinking about remote work in very, very different ways. So I'm going to go through a couple of these videos and just kind of give you my commentary on them, tell you what I believe they are doing or not doing properly. And let's go along for the journey together. Let's do it.
How can organizations kind of avoid that kind of, for lack of a better term, discrimination against workers who are fully hybrid or fully remote?
So first off, this is a crucial question. Discrimination against remote workers is a valid concern, but it can be addressed through intentional management practices. And it's essential to recognize that remote work doesn't inherently lead to discrimination if actually managed properly. Let's see what Satya says.
Yeah, see, this is where I think one has to have really outcomes that need to be measured and goals that need to be aligned, and then having that data around them really define what's working or not working.
So I completely agree with him. In my opinion, focusing on outcomes and measurable goals is key. A study by Stanford found that remote workers were 13% more productive, and this productivity can be tracked effectively through performance metrics like Time Doctor as an example, rather than physical presence, or you don't even have to measure it at all if you really don't want to.
We're not saying, obviously, you remember even during the height of the pandemic, 50%, 60% of the global workforce was showing up at work because the frontline workers don't have an option of not being in the front line. So we're talking about knowledge workers primarily.
It's important to also differentiate between different types of work. For knowledge workers, remote work has proven to be highly effective. FlexJobs report coming out of, I think, 2020 says that 95% of workers want some form of remote work, highlighting its importance for job satisfaction and retention.
Everyone's exercising that flexibility that they had during the pandemic now in the post-pandemic world.
This shift towards flexibility is, in my opinion, pretty significant. Buffer State of Remote Work report found that 84% of remote workers experienced less stress due to the elimination of commuting, which positively impacted their mental health and productivity.
So I think the way to manage that would be to really make sure that you're very clear as leaders and managers about what the goals of the company are or the team are, setting the norms for how people collaborate and communicate.
So clear communication and goal setting are indeed very crucial. Using tools like Microsoft Teams and Asana can facilitate this, ensuring everyone is actually on the same page. I personally like Asana more than Microsoft, but Satya is so good at doing remote work stuff that maybe we should switch. In my opinion, regular check-ins and transparent communication channels are essential for maintaining team cohesion and productivity.
Ensuring that the flexibility is not being misused, but is in some sense it becomes a competitive advantage for you because the tools are there.
So flexibility should be seen as a strength, not as a vulnerability. Companies that offer flexible work arrangements often see higher employee satisfaction and retention rates. This competitive advantage can attract top talent, as 33% of remote workers report improved overall mental health and work-life balance in comparison to the people in the office.
So one of the things at least we're trying to make sure everyone knows is between Microsoft 365 and Teams and Viva, I feel that the tools are there for one to really make hybrid work productive.
Leveraging technology is, in my opinion, critical. These tools can help manage remote teams effectively, ensuring that everyone stays connected and productive. For example, the use of collaboration tools has been shown to support remote work productivity by enabling seamless communication and project management. Don't take my word for it. Satya looks like he's all in on remote work, which I am super stoked about. Let's go to the next one. It is none other than your boy, Mr. Elon Musk. Let's get into it.
Look, I'm a big believer that people are more productive when they're in person.
So first off, Elon Musk's belief in the productivity of in-person work is, to be honest with you, completely understandable, especially in industries like manufacturing, in which a lot of people are in an actual manufacturing facility. However, numerous studies show that remote work can be just as, if not more productive for knowledge workers. For instance, a Stanford study found a 13% increase in productivity among remote workers, and that study was actually referenced at the last Running Remote by the guy who actually came up with the study. let's keep going.
The whole sort of work from home thing, it's like, I kind of think that the whole notion of work from home is a bit like the fake Marie Antoinette quote, let them eat cake.
So comparing remote work to a privileged statement overlooks the significant benefits it actually provides. Remote work offers flexibility and better work-life balance, which can reduce stress and increase job satisfaction. FlexJobs reports that 33% of remote workers experienced improved mental health due to these factors. Remember, I referenced that in the last video.
It's like, really, you're going to work from home and you're going to make everyone else who made your car come work in the factory? You're going to make the people who make your food that gets delivered, that they can't work from home? The people that come fix your house, they can't work from home, but you can? Does that seem morally right? That's messed up.
Okay, so it's essential to differentiate between different types of work. Frontline and manufacturing roles require physical presence, but knowledge work does not. This differentiation allows for flexibility where it's feasible without actually compromising productivity or fairness. The focus should be on optimizing work environments for all types of jobs, whether remote or in person. Just in my opinion, Elon.
You see it as a moral issue?
Yes.
I mean, I see it more as
And
just
it's a productivity issue, but
Yeah.
it's also a moral issue. People should get off the goddamn moral high horse with the work from home bullshit, because they're asking everyone else to not work from home while they do.
And yet
it's wrong.
there's still pushback, by the way. It's still
Yeah.
going on. This battle is still happening. I mean, leaders of organizations, and I speak to plenty of them, I want people back. I want people back. 3 days a week, they're still battling. It's not clear that
Yeah.
it's ever going to change. People are not coming back 5 days a week.
Look, the laptop class is living in La La Land, okay?
Okay, so the laptop class is certainly not living in quote unquote La La Land. It's absolutely ridiculous that he would think that that's a reality that you could reverse. I mean, he's a really smart guy. I don't understand why he's just got this axe to grind against remote work. Elon, I love your spaceships. I love your cars, but stuff is really pissing me off.
So the people building cars, servicing the cars, building houses, fixing houses, making the food, making all the things that people consume, it's messed up to assume that they have to go to work, but you don't.
So different jobs have different requirements. Remote work isn't feasible for all roles, but for those that it is, it offers substantial benefits. By allowing flexibility where possible, companies can actually enhance overall job satisfaction and attract top talent, which can lead to better outcomes across the board, at least in my opinion.
Although productivity is definitely impacted too. And the ability of people
Yes,
to learn
I agree.
and, I mean, on and on.
Okay, so absolutely, productivity is a crucial factor, and remote work has been shown to maintain or even boost productivity in many cases. Companies should focus on measuring, in my opinion, outcomes rather than physical presence to ensure that productivity remains high regardless of where the work is actually being done.
So if you want to work at Tesla, you want to work at SpaceX, you want to work at Twitter, you got to come into the office every day.
Yes.
While some roles may require physical presence, many do not. Offering remote work options where feasible can actually increase job satisfaction and reduce turnover, ultimately benefiting the organization's essential like productivity and output. Flexibility can be a key differentiator in attracting and retaining top talent in a competitive market, which was actually, at the point in which this video was produced, was incredibly competitive. So I don't really understand what Elon was thinking here. I think he's just, sometimes he has these axes to grind that he's just will not let go of.
I'm saying, like, look, put 40 hours in, and frankly, it doesn't even need to be like Monday through Friday, you could work Monday through Thursday. And I'm also not saying no one people should take vacations. Like, I work 7 days a week, but I'm not expecting others to do that.
It is one of those things that when you say, I work 7 days a week, but I don't expect other people to, if you say that as a CEO, you're actually creating an environment in which if you don't work 7 days a week, then you're not going to ever grow inside of that organization. If you do that, you should not mention it to anybody, at least in my opinion. Work-life balance is crucial for long-term productivity and mental health. If you just want to burn people out, then absolutely have them work 7 days a week. But in my opinion, remote work can facilitate this balance, allowing employees to actually work more effectively and satisfied in their roles. So encouraging a healthy work-life balance through flexible work arrangements can lead to, in my opinion, more sustainable, productive output. But again, that's just my opinion. Honestly, I'm pretty tired of Elon. Let's just move on to the next video.
Office buildings in the United States, to some degree also around the world, because the pandemic, people got used to staying at home. It was actually more profitable for them to stay at home because, one, they didn't work as hard, regardless of what they tell you.
Let's be clear on this one here, Stephen. It's not just some neutral observer perspective. BlackStone's portfolio is 67% commercial real estate. Want to be able to reinvest reinforce that there. So of course he's going to bash remote work. His business literally depends on people filling those office buildings. But let's talk facts here. Multiple studies, including one from Stanford, have shown that remote workers are not only just as productive, but often more productive than their in-office counterparts. Just want to be able to set the facts down here. I don't know where he's getting his information from.
And the second is they don't spend money to commute. They can make their lunch at home. They don't have to buy expensive clothes, and so their incomes are higher.
Exactly. These are the benefits of remote work. These are not drawbacks. These are advantages. Employees saving on commuting and work-related expenses and all of these other things that he just mentioned translates to higher disposable incomes and better job satisfaction, Stephen. But let's not kid ourselves here. I mean, Schwarzman frames this as a problem because it threatens the profitability of his vast commercial real estate investments. This doesn't make any actual sense, at least in my opinion. I don't know how people were actually responding to this in the actual audience.
In the US, in the office market, buildings are 20% vacant.
That's wrong. They're actually like 36% vacant. Maybe this was an older video. I think it's like a year and a half old. They're way more vacant now, by the way.
Actually, there's another 20% that somebody's leased, but the people don't come in. So you're looking at office buildings that basically are 40% unused.
Okay, cool. So we actually did reinforce that. Hopefully that was coming through, because the reality is that if he said that, I would have pounced on that. Let's get real here. The high vacancy rates are a direct result of the permanent shift towards remote work, which has proven to be incredibly effective. Companies are realizing that they can cut costs significantly by actually reducing their physical office spaces. Meanwhile, Schwarzman is worried about his empty buildings. This isn't about productivity. It's about actually protecting his bottom line, just in my opinion.
I expect when those leases roll off, the companies will cut back the amount of space. So say you have 30% unused space in office buildings. That means those office buildings are not survivable, as economic entities.
Of course, Stephen. He's sounding the alarm. A massive chunk of his investments are at risk. The reality is remote work is saving companies millions, if not billions, in overhead costs. A natural evolution driven by technology and employee preferences. Schwarzman's dire predictions are more about his financial interests than about the viability of remote work.
The exception is office buildings that are 10 years old or less. People like being in those. So that's going to have very bad ending.
It definitely is, Stephen. Newer buildings might be more attractive, but the overall trend is unmistakable. Remote work is here to stay. The benefits for employees and companies are too significant to actually ignore. People like this guy, they're just the last desperate cries of a real estate mogul watching his empire's value diminish as the world adapts to a new way of working. To me, his bias is clear. His negative perception towards remote work is a direct correlation to his company's heavy investment in commercial real estate. The fact is, remote work offers substantial benefits, including increased productivity, better work-life balance, and significant cost savings for companies. So as a workplace evolves, companies that embrace these changes will be better positioned for long-term success. So here's my perspective. There's actually a lot of companies that are having their own individual perspectives towards remote work. I would love for all of them to be able to go to the Running Remote conference to be able to check out the reality of that data that we are pulling in from a multitude of different sources, not only from actual business operators that have been running remote for years, but then also from academics, from operators inside of remote companies. Dude, it's not too scary, except for BlackRock, obviously. You guys are not invited, but everyone else is invited to be able to check out remote work and really fight this propaganda war that is built by companies like BlackRock that are just spouting such ridiculous statistics about remote work that to me is very, very scary. But other than that, let me know if there's anybody else that I should review in terms of these videos. Please put them down in the comments below. Are you totally in on the BlackRock guy? Do you think that he's your spirit animal? If so, put that down in the comments below, because I would love to be able to fight you in the comments. Other than that, like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you like this stuff, we do videos like this all day, every single minute of my life. So go and subscribe, check out the other videos, and I'll see you in the next one.